Ready to unlock the secret to faster decision-making and boosting productivity in your Salesforce org? In this episode of How I Solved It, we're about to show you how. I'm Jennifer Lee, Lead Admin Evangelist at Salesforce. And today, Jodie Miners is here to show us the power of Salesforce Indicators. She's going to show us how to use visual cues to guide your users, help them spot key information instantly, and take action faster. So if you're looking for ways to supercharge your team's efficiency, this episode is definitely for you. So let's dive in. Today, I'm joined by Salesforce MVP Hall of Famer, Jodie Miners, who is based in Australia. Jodie, thank you so much for being here on How I Solved It.
Thanks, Jen. It's been a few years since I was on one of your webinars, so it's been lovely to be back here and showing you some really cool stuff.
And I personally can't wait for people to learn more about Salesforce Indicators. But first, let's get to know you a bit better before we nerd out on your use case and solution. So you've been in the ecosystem for a while. How did you get started?
Well, it was really actually quite strange. I won a grant from the Australian Government Department of the Arts to be a geek in residence for an arts organisation. And I helped this arts organisation that had an access database. And I said, no, you need a CRM system. And because of the power of 10 donation, the non-profit donation, we were able to go to Salesforce as the solution. And I said to them, oh, look, I'm sorry, I don't know Salesforce. You're going to have to find someone else. And they say, no, you know us. You know what we do now. No, you have to come and do it. So I said, look, I'll learn Salesforce and I won't charge you for that learning. And I will, I'll build your solution out in Salesforce. And so that was in 2011. And that's how I learned Salesforce and learnt from some of the best people around that I did some one-on-one training, and I did training, Salesforce actual training, learnt from some of the best people, and it was just such a great start to learning Salesforce.
Wow, 2011. That's the same time that I ended up learning about Salesforce as well. Oh, that was a great year.
Yeah. And then I had MVP in 2015 and just a little bit before you.
I think just a year before me. Yeah.
A year before. Yeah, that's
so
right.
on the same journey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what advice do you have for folks who are in the nonprofit space and are interested in doing more with Salesforce?
So for individuals within a nonprofit org, it's like, I want you to be annoying to your org, to your people. I want you to learn everything about your industry and learn everything about how you work and get every single thing inside it working in your Salesforce org. No more spreadsheets. I want you to use your whole donation from Salesforce. It's a value at $20,000 per year, right? I just want you to use that whole donation from Salesforce plus all the extra additions you get at a cheaper price than regular list price with a nonprofit. And then all the training you can get for nonprofit pricing. Just use it all up, use as much as possible.
Yeah, just absorb, be that sponge. So that's great advice. Now let's dive into the good stuff. So can you share with us your business problem that you're trying to solve for?
The demo I'm doing today is bits and pieces that I've done for many of my clients, and I put them all into the one demo. So I'm demoing how nonprofits often do things manually. And there are some manual processes that have to be done. And we need a way to help the team get their job done quickly and without any errors. But I particularly hate tasks. I don't like have all these automated tasks. The amount of orgs they go into, and they've got thousands and thousands and thousands of tasks that have never been completed. So I prefer to let Salesforce record tell us what it needs to be done next. What is the next action? And I really want to be able to see always at a glance what the whole team is doing. Just be able to see quickly and see everything that has been done and needs to be done. And just so that nothing falls through the cracks in the whole system and processes, both manual and automated.
Great. So can you show us in a demo?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so this is a standard Enterprise Edition org with Nonprofit Success Pack in. But I want to let you know that anything I show you here is not specifically related to Nonprofit Success Pack. It can be used with any nonprofit org, any regular org, any org at all in Enterprise Edition and above. So I'm going to play the role of a fundraising manager at this nonprofit who needs to get some work done today to do some manual processes, because we have a business rule that says any donation over $1,000 or from a high net worth individual needs to have a thank you note done, personal thank you note, and also needs to have the GAU allocations done. So the person making the donation will tell us where they want their money to be spent, and we need to put that into the system so that when it goes across to the accounting system, it can go to the right fund in the accounting system. So I'm just into the regular homepage. And so what I do is I utilize my favorites. So normally I'm just going to be having a look at what are the opportunities that are new this week. But then when I actually want to get down to do some work, I have these things that I call an action list. So I need some that I've got to send a thank you note to, and some that I have GAU allocation required. So what's an action list? It's a list that is everything in this list requires some work to be done on it. And if you've done all your work for today, this list will be empty. And I've got another action list for data cleansing. So we'll go through a couple of these options. So I'm going to be on this donation here. And what I've got over here is my Salesforce Indicators. Now, Salesforce Indicators can be completely customized to your org and can have any form of colored icons that really help your business and whatever you want. So this is what I have done for this demo, but all of this can be customized to what you want for your business. So here in the indicators, I've got that this is a closed won opportunity, that this value is between $1,000 and $5,000. That this donation is from a high net worth individual. And I've got two red color indicators here. One is that the thank you note needs to be done, and one is that the GAU allocations need to be done. And so this color here is a sort of dull red color. It comes from the standard Salesforce color scheme with the accessibility colors that they use. So if this color doesn't suit your business, and your business needs, you can change this color. So that's just why it's a bit of a strange red color. But it's for me, it's like red means, hey, there's something next to be done. You've got to do something. Okay, so whilst I'm here, I really want to send a thank you note to here, but the GAU allocations is pretty quick and easy. And so I'm going to do that first. So you can see here, I've got an indicator that says that the GAU allocation needs to be done. And because that needs to be done, the GAU allocation tab is showing and the GAU allocation button is showing. Okay, so every time I've got a tab showing, I've got an indicator showing to say, hey, there's something here. So when you look at the record, you can see at a glance, hey, there's something that needs to be done here. So I'm going to go to my GAU allocation, and the person that gave this donation has asked for the donation to be for helping women succeed. And so I'm going to quickly do the quick add GAU allocation. Of course, I can use the manage allocation button, but I've just done a quick action here. And I'm going to make that the Women's Empowerment Fund and give it 100%. And so when we have a look here, we'll see that the GAU allocation icon has gone, the GAU allocation tab has gone, and the button has gone. So just really sort of cleans the slate for the next bit of work to be done. So the next bit of work is the thank you note. And so here I've got some indicators that if I went to the contact record, I've got some indicators on the contact record that tells us about the contact. Again, they've donated this year, they're a high net worth individual, and their contact preference is phone. So I've just brought that in here, and I've also got some related record fields here. And so so Joanna's contact preference is phone. So I'm going to give her a call. We don't have any fancy call functionality in Salesforce for a nonprofit. Just going to pick up the phone and call her. And then when I say I've called her, I want to make a note that I have called her. And so I built this little sort of fancy little shortcut here that if I type the words call in square brackets and then put the text that I have given with the thank you, I can hit save there. And that's going to run a flow on the background and do some nice things for me. It's going to put the post in Chatter and put the logger call in the activity. So having that post in Chatter, and I've got a topic against that post. So this is great for, especially when, as a manager, I'm away for a few days and the team is doing the rest of the work and they're sending out thank you notes. I can just quickly come to that topics page at any point in time and see all of the thank you notes, because this is really important to our business. It's really important that we understand that we are really thanking our donors and we understand that that work has been done. So just can come to this topic page, and I can always come to this topic page from my favorites also. So this is just a feed of every single thing that is where a thank you note has been sent. Now, this one here, Joanna, she had a thank you of phone. So what if I had a person that had a thank you note of email? So here is an opportunity that's got the thank you note of email. And so this is a person that's in a household. They have donated this year and their contact preference is email. So in this case, we also have an option in doing the email that you want to invite these people to our upcoming giving events where we are raising money. So I want to go to the email thank you, and this is a flow. And on the flow, I've got the other indicators. Now, I can see there's a lot of color on the screen now. I've got indicators over here, indicators up here, and indicators over here. And that's a lot, probably a bit too much, but it's just there for the demo and showing you all the different places that you can show indicators. If you are an indicators user already, this using indicators in Flow is an upcoming feature coming out in a very short time, as soon as we can get it out there. So here I've got a couple of events. So the areas of interest that Margaret has is that she's interested in thought leader webinars, conferences, and awards nights. So I've just got these indicators there showing, just to give you that visual indicator, so you can quickly do your job of choosing the right event to show. And so I say, look, I'd really like to invite her to the MoMA event in New York coming up. And that gives us the pro forma thank you email. And it's got there, we'd love to see you at our upcoming Christmas soiree. And then also I've got this nice little thing here where it puts the Margaret's partner's name in there. And then I've also got the donation details come in, and then all I've got to do now is write a custom thank you message, and that goes into the email there. So this is my pro forma email ready to send and do that. So I send the email, and of course I've got some nice little automations on the back end here, and that's given me that thank you message there. It's given me the activity email there that have got the email sent, including the VIP soiree at MoMA. And then I've also got, it's gone onto the contact record, and it has added the person to the campaign as invited. So that is actually really cool also. So I'm just going to go back to this previous opportunity. And now that we've done the GAU allocations and we've done the thank you note, another icon pops up. And it says okay, we need to send this to the accounting system. And the accounting is purple. That was my idea, to make it purple, because this is something that's going to happen overnight anyway. But whilst we're here, we may as well make it happen. So I'm just going to do here, I'm going to go send to accounting, and I've pre-filled the date in here. And this is going to send an external integration, and the external system is going to come back and say, hey, I've received it. So what I want you to do is just when I hit save, just have a look over here. And when the external system comes back and says, hey, I've received it, the icon changes to green. So now we've got all greens here, and we can say everything's done on this opportunity. So the other thing that we have to do here, this one here is missing a GAU allocation. So I'm just going to do that one. Quick add the GAU allocation, and that is education and training programs for 100%. And so here I've got one more thing to do. Now this one here, the opportunity is, the icon is orange, because it's like not particularly urgent that we have to do it today, the day that the opportunity comes in, but we want to do it within a day or two or a week or two of getting the details in. So what we do is we follow the best practice recommendations, which is an external system, in this case the donation platform, never updates the contact record directly. So in our case, that donation information happens on the payment record. So the donation external donation platform, they fill in their details, and that gets added to the donation record. So here on this tab, I have got just some key fields brought in from the payment record, and the key fields brought in from the contact record. With the new dynamic forms, this is great that we can do this. And I've got here what happened on the payment record and what happened on the contact record. So I can just see at a glance here, well, Margaret has given us her surname, her first name of Margie here. So it's saying these two don't match. Now, if we have a preferred name field on our contact record, we might want to update that preferred name to be Margie. And here her organisation name doesn't match because she's just typed something in random into the organisation name. So we're not going to be updating that. So all of that's fine. We can just say, look, that's all fine. And here we've got Margaret's address as this fancy building in San Francisco at 415 Mission Street. But we've got now, and that's her work address, but we've now got this donation that she's made herself, and this is her address. So we could update that address on her contact directly now to say that, well, actually we've now got her home address, and that is at 555 California Street. And we can quickly update that, and now our contact record is more up to date than it has been. So this sort of helps us self-cleanse our contacts list in our system. Now, if I was to refresh that donation now, that address now matches. And so all I've got now is the contact details. So you can see my indicators are now saying, hey, only the contact details don't match. The address and the email address matches, and the organisation name matches. So now, because I'm saying, well, actually that name does match, I'm going to just click verify contact. I do contact details verified, and that contact goes away. So I've now got all green here. So back on my action list, my action list now much shorter for data cleansing, much shorter for GAU allocation required, and much shorter for thank you note, because all of the work I've just done has made those lists shorter. So I've still got a bit of work to do, but I can come back and do those at a later time. So that's the basis of it. But, you want to know more about indicators. So let's have a look at how the indicators are built. So an indicator has a Lightning Web component that is an indicator bundle, and you build an indicator bundle by setting up building individual indicator items. Items can be added to a bundle in a many-to-many format, so you can have one icon that has multiple one indicator that's in multiple different bundles. So here we've got this button here. It's called, it's got an information icon, and we call this the key. So the idea of the key is, if we're looking at one set of indicators, you might say, look, I know that there's this other indicator here that sometimes happens, that sometimes is shown. Like, where does that happen and when does that come up? So here I've got every single indicator that is visible. So here, if it was greater than $5,000, the star would be yellow. And if there wasn't a high net worth individual, there would be no indicator. And we've got every single indicator here that has been configured for this this indicator bundle, which is shown on opportunities. And so I can click on that. Now, as a system admin who's got the admin privileges on indicators, I get these icons. Everyone else gets the same key details, can see all of the same criteria, but they don't get those edit buttons. So when I click edit, that opens up custom metadata types. So custom metadata types is a standard Salesforce functionality, but it allows, once a setup has been done in a sandbox, for it to be deployed to production. And once the setup is in production, when you create a sandbox, all of this configuration will come through. So we are working on a nicer UI. You probably, if you've used declarative lookup rollup summaries, which is another open source commons app like Indicators is, you know that they've gone through a massive change to do a new UI, and we're working on a similar thing. So, but at the moment, it's manually edited through the custom metadata types. We're going to change the color of this high net worth individual icon and say, look, actually, I want this high net worth individual icon to be blue and with a white foreground. So I can just change that color of that icon. And if I refresh this page, this high net worth individual icon is now blue. So there's all sorts of configurations that you can do and wonderful things that you can do. And as I said, there's this new feature in flows that we can actually use indicators in flows. At the moment, we've just done an individual indicator item. So here I've got like 5 different interest areas. So I have got 5 different indicator items, and I put the indicator items individually in a section. But with this one, I can use formula fields. I can just put the hover text in here, the indicator size, the shape, and which icon to use. And you can see here, this is an icon which shows the formula field. And so if I just use my formula field and go to the conference icon, I've just done, say, if that multi-select pick list includes of interest, includes the word conferences, then give me this custom 45. Now, where does that come from? So one of the types of icons that we can use is the SLDS, or the Lightning Design System icons. So just about any icon on this page you can use, and you can then change the colors of these icons. So here I've got the standard icons. So if I want standard account, I've got a type standard : account, and that gives me the standard icon there. But I can then change the color by overriding the color codes. Now, I can use these icons. I can use custom icons. I can use commercial icons. I can use any icon that I can find in my customization. It just so happens in this demo today, I have used only SLDS icons, and I've done them in custom colors. So that's really a little bit about how we build an indicator, and you can find indicators on the Salesforce App Exchange. And as I mentioned, indicators is part of the open source commons as a Salesforce program. designed for helping non-profits get little apps and help systems and all this sort of stuff that can help non-profits and other orgs. What we do is not only for non-profits, it's for other orgs also. And as I said, declarative lookup roll-up summaries is part of the Open Source Commons. Summit events is part of the Open Source Commons. There's so many great products as part of that Commons. And you can come and help us build this. As I said, we've got some wonderful features ready for release now, but we've got so many cool things we want to do. And if you want to find out more about it, you can come to our help site, which is linked from the App Exchange, and you can see all about Salesforce Indicators and how you can come and help us build this as part of the Open Source Commons. So I just wanted to recap the solution. We've got this concept of action lists, where we've got every single thing in this list needs something to be done, and we're making the record tell us what it needs to have done. We've got these colourful visual indicators on the record to help tell us what the next action is. We combine that with conditional tabs, conditional buttons, and conditional indicators to help them see what is the next action done. And we use chatter and topics to really help see that the whole team can see what has been done. So over to you, Jen.
Jodie, this is such a game changer. I don't even know where Salesforce Indicators has been all my life, but I'm totally loving it. I love those colorful icons. I mean, they really pop, and it makes it so clear at a glance what the user needs to do. And so I can see how it really boosts end user productivity. And I love the use of custom metadata types behind the scenes to store the indicator information. So, this is all awesome. I noticed that you mentioned action lists earlier. Are those new functionality?
No, they are just something that I have built myself. Let me show you what is in the action list. All it is a field that says, hey, we might need to do some data cleansing. So my formula field, data cleansing, says, hey, does the account name match? Does the email match? Does the contact name match? So I've just got a formula field that says, hey, is something needing to be done here? If something needed to be done, I say true. So data cleansing is true. So I have a list here showing data cleansing is true. Now that true formula field drives the indicator showing. It drives the tab showing. It drives the potential visibility of the button showing. And then when all of those are done, that formula field turns to false, and that all of those things disappear. So it is just a formula field, and that is all there is. And the reason I call them action, I put them at the top, is because they come at the top of my list.
I mean, that's some mighty formula field that's controlling all those things. Wow, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Jodie, for joining us today and sharing your expertise on how I solved it. I mean, seriously, I do wish that I knew about indicators back in the day when I was an admin, because I would totally have this in my org. And you'd see all over the
indicators came out of lockdown. I actually, of course, I had to stop work during lockdown because, people were unsure what was happening, and the government was paying me to stay home. So I chose to learn stuff. And so I went and did the LWC course that Salesforce provides, and learned how to build an LWC. And so I just took this idea that was made by two previous MVPs on Classic. It was called the Weathervane app. And I just took this idea and built it for my clients that have moved to Lightning already. And I, put it up on my GitHub. I had so much help building it. I put it up on my GitHub. And then 2 years later, Tim Shug, who is now part of our open source commons team, along with Emma Keeling, Tim came back to me and said, "Hey, Jodie, I didn't know him. He just messaged me on Ohana Slack and said, 'Hey, Jodie, I've taken your GitHub code and I've rebuilt it with all the features that you wanted,' which one of the features I wanted was custom metadata types." And I said, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And I said, "Well, it's not my code. I can't release it. It's not your code. You can't release it. Let's join the open source commons and release it as part of the commons and be part of, have it really become a community app. It's community built. It's just me putting out there, Tim picking up and saying, 'Hey, I can help here.' Emma coming along and saying, 'I'd love to help with this.' And it is just a real community effort. And every couple of months we have a sprint, and many people from the community come and help us build this. And we've had so much help, and it's so wonderful, and it's so lovely to see it out there and see it as a fully fledged app. And I just love it.
Oh, that's an amazing story. And I love how it's the community that came together to build this. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much, Jodie, for being on How I Solved It.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You just saw how Jodie Miners used Salesforce Indicators to completely transform the way her users interact with their data. Those visual cues are such a total game changer for boosting productivity and guiding users to take action quickly. Admins, if you're excited to bring this into your org, be sure to check out Salesforce Indicators, a free Salesforce Labs app on the App Exchange, and get involved in the Salesforce Open Source Commons via the short link that you see below. Salesforce Indicators is a team effort by Jodie, Emma Keeling, and Tim Shug. So be sure to read Emma's blog, which does a deep dive of Salesforce Indicators. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of How I Solved It. Visit admin.salesforce.com for more great content, and hit the subscribe button on the Salesforce Admin's YouTube channel to catch future episodes of How I Solved It. Until next time, keep building and being awesome.
Awesome admin.